Oh, and here comes Miss Sam now.
Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing?
Good.
Good. That's good. Do you guys, do you want to take a mindful moment and put in the chat how you guys are doing this morning?
Yeah.
All right. Let's check it out. We have Amir, we have Cassidy, Ryan, Shantanae. Ooh, Ryan is doing good this morning.
I'm trying to get Derek to come on in.
Amir's doing good. Shantanae's good. Ooh, Shantanae, what emoji did you put? I can't see it. Did you put a smiley face? Yeah. Okay. So today we are going to be going over some of the stuff that we learned already in science. Ooh, I see the emoji now, Ryan. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, we are going to be going over some of the stuff we have already kind of gone over in science with producers, consumers, and decomposers. Ooh, okay.
That's like an extra.
Little extra study session. Okay, so with a thumbs up telling me you know what you're doing, or a thumbs down that you don't know, who here can define in their own words what a producer is? Can you guys give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down that you could do that?
So she's saying, if you could tell Miss Sam right now, if each of you could tell Miss Sam right now what a producer is, give a thumbs up. If you can't, in your own words, tell Miss Sam what a producer is, put a thumbs down. So either you can or you can't.
You can? Shantanae, can you unmute your mic and tell me what you think a producer is?
A producer is something to make their own food.
Yeah, good job. That's awesome, Shantanae. Ooh, Demetrius is here.
Oh, I didn't see her yesterday.
Hey, Demetrius. How are you, sweetie? I missed you yesterday.
Ooh, I love your hair today.
Thank you.
All right. So, Demetrius, we are going over producers, consumers. Ooh.
My kids are joining me.
Marie, I want you to have your camera on, though, sweetie. I want cameras on. I want to see all your faces this morning. Okay? Because we're going to do some responses where we need to see you. So you guys have to have your cameras on.
All right. Maurice, where are you? Ooh, where'd Cassidy go?
Come on,
Cass, turn your camera on.
There's Reese.
All right, Demetrius and Maurice, we are going over producers, consumers, and decomposers, and it's going to be a good help for your quiz today, so I'd pay attention. So can any of you guys giving me a thumbs up, meaning you know, or a thumbs down? Do you guys know what a consumer is? Ooh, Amir knows. Who else? Ryan, do you know? Nah, it's okay. We're going to go over it again, so it's all right. Hey, Amir, can you tell me what a consumer is? Ooh, who said that?
Me,
Oh my gosh. Can you tell me what a consumer is?
a person who purchases goods or service.
Kind of.
Use.
A person who, it is either like an animal, like you or me, we're consumers, so we eat plants and meat. Right? Right. All right, so does anyone here, can you tell me what a decomposer is? With a thumbs up or a thumbs down if we know? Amir, can you tell me? I see you got your notes. I love it.
A decomposer is breaks down dead animals.
Yeah,
Very good.
that is good. Good job, Amir. Give yourself a pat on the back. That is awesome. All right, so Miss Sam, she is going to share her screen. Hold on one second. What is going on?
It's sharing.
Perfect.
Cassidy, unmute your, so we can see your camera, please.
All right, so I am going to pull up our slideshow, okay? Now, before I do that, can everyone go to the Sensational Scholars page on Miss Brown's website for you guys, and then go to the guided notes section?
If they go on the stream, it would be the first thing that.
Okay.
Oh, another class is included, but there's two different, I attached two different ones.
I don't know which one you want them to.
All right, let's check it out under classwork. Guided notes. All right, we are going, if you click on guided notes, we are going to click on producers, consumers, and decomposers. Do we all see that? Do we pull it up?
I can pull it up.
Give me a thumbs up if you see the guided notes.
Hey, Mr. Reed, can you send theirs on the classwork for Sensational Scholars, not joining the meeting, send them a message. No, Cassidy, that's not what you should pull up. Go under science.
So if we go under science and we click on guided notes,
Demetrius has it.
and you see there's two. There's one that says, at the bottom, it says Sam Siepka Food, and then it says Sam Siepka Producers. And we are going to click on the Producers, Consumer, and Decomposer Guided Notes.
Yes, that's the one that you should click, Maurice, the one that's blue. There you go, perfect.
So what do you need Derek to do?
I need him to join the Google Meet.
All right, so your page should look like this, okay? It's okay.
Can you show me the page again?
Sure. Can you see my page right now?
Cassidy, you're on the Brown and Lane. You need to be in the Brown Sensational Scholars Google classroom.
All right, so when you open it up, it should look like this, where it says guided notes for a producer, consumer, and decomposer. And then it will say an organism is. That's the page that you guys should be on. If you clicked on the other one, then we should be clicking on the one right next to it, okay? So are we all pulled up?
Hold on. Cassidy, go down to where it says science, sweetheart, right at the top there. Click that. Your guided notes. Science. No, do the one on the right where it says, there you go, Cass. Okay, she's got it. Okay. They all have it pulled up.
Wonderful. All right. So, if you guys have your guided notes pulled up, Miss Sam's screen is being goofy. you should see an organism is any blank living thing.
Are you kidding me?
So, if we go to, can you guys see my screen? Yeah. All right. So, if we go to our slideshow and we see that an organism ... we see that a picture that it can be any living thing as small as a microscopic bacteria you see in the blue. And we see that an organism, it can be as large as a whale, but I put an elephant because that's also a pretty big animal. Okay? So on these guided notes, do you guys see where the blank is? Hey Cassidy, can you see where the blank is? All right, you see that word in the red? I want you guys to type down that word that is in the red, okay? Because when we filled out these guided notes, they are gonna help us with our assignments after and our little quiz later. Anything that you have with this stuff, you can use towards your quiz later, okay? So this is to benefit you guys. Okay? All right, so does everyone have oh, Shantane, what are we supposed to do? All right, Shantane, can you unmute your mic? Shantane.
Yes.
Okay, Shantane, do you see where the blank is on producers, consumers, and decomposers right there? Do you see the blank spot on the guided notes? What's that, Shantane?
No.
All right, so when you open up, do you see my screen right here?
Yeah.
You see this blank spot right here?
Yeah.
All right, we are gonna type independent right there. So you see how Miss Sam is writing independent. Whoops. You see that?
This way. Yeah.
All right, so that is how we do our guided notes, okay? So I have the PowerPoint pulled up right next to us, and we are gonna go down to the next thing. We are gonna go to the 3 categories of the food chain, okay? So the 3 categories of a food chain are producers, consumers, and decomposers. All right? So all of these categories are all dependent on each other. So where you see,
We gotta do we gotta I saw our house. We gotta go in the Google Classroom.
yeah, so you are going to be staying on this page right here, and you are going to be typing in that red answer. We are going to be typing in dependent. Okay? So we are going to be filling in our guided notes as we go through the PowerPoint, okay? All right, did everyone get that written down? Did they get dependent written down? All right. Let's go to the next one. So the first category of the food chain, producers. Producers get their energy from the sun. Producers are plants. Plants make their food through a process called photosynthesis. An example of a producer is grass. All right, so you see the blank spot where it says photosynthesis next to it? We are gonna write down photosynthesis. All right, how we looking? Does everyone have it written down?
No.
Not yet. Hey, Demetrius, which, are you typing it?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, Cassidy, Amir, Ryan, give me a thumbs up if you guys have it written down. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, we are on to the next section of our guided notes. We are at consumers. So consumers are animals. They need to eat their food to get energy. There are 3 types of consumers. So in that blank spot, we are going to type in the 3, or you could put the number 3, but I wrote down 3. So we know that there are 3 types. We learned that there are carnivores, we learned that there are herbivores, and we learned that there are omnivores. Now, we also learned about carnivores, herbivores, and omnivores, all the different properties of them. So that we know that carnivores eat only meat. An example of that could be a hawk. An herbivore eats only plants. So an example could be a bunny. And then omnivores eat both meat and plants, which could be a bear, because sometimes bears eat blueberries or they eat fish or different types of meat. Okay? So we don't have to fill any spots in right there, okay? So we are going to go to the 3rd part of our guided notes. We are going to do decomposers. So Amir said earlier the correct term about decomposers, but we want to say that it is an organism that breaks down dead or decaying organisms and recycles nutrients back into the ecosystem. So in that blank spot, we are going to click and we are going to write down nutrients, because that is so important to know.
Derek, do you have this pulled up?
You have to turn your mic off or to answer that question. Do you have the information pulled up?
Because the students are completing it along with Miss Sam right now.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, did everyone get all the blank spots filled in?
This is Mrs. Brown.
Give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or whatever else you want to give me. But I think a thumbs up and a thumbs down would represent good if you got everything or nothing. All right, Derek, we will get you catched up in a second, okay? So, we're going to do stop, review, and check. We're going to do a response chat session. So, we're going to, okay. So in the chat, when I give you guys a question, you are going to type down the best answer possible, okay? So, the first question is, give an example of each word and enter in the chat for an example of a producer. So remember in our guided notes, what was the example that we put down as a producer? And we are going to put it in the chat, okay? All right. Do we all have our answer in the chat? Give me a thumbs up if we got it written down. Not yet. Okay. I'll give you guys some more time. But we are coming up with an example of what a producer is. This is just to go over what we just went over in our notes, okay? So it doesn't count against you, but I just want to see what we know. So we are thinking of an example of a producer. And once you have your answer, hit enter and send it in the chat so I can see what you guys know, okay?
That's for everyone. So, Derek, you included. We want to, if you have the answer in your notes, put it also in the chat so we can see what your responses are.
All right, does anyone have it in the chat? It is a thing that can make its own food. That is correct, Shantane. A producer is something that can make its own food. But what's an example of that? A plant, yes, Amir, a plant like a flower or grass or leaves, anything that makes its own energy from the sun. All right, that was so good. Thank you. Ooh, Derek, good job. A plant. All right. So we are going to go to our next question. We are going to go to a consumer. Please, in the chat, write down what you think a consumer is. Okay?
I want to see all your answers. Make sure that you put it in your notes and that you also put it in the chat.
We have some examples in our notes, so you guys should be able to look back at them and see what you wrote down. And if we need to go back and fill in some blank spots in our notes, if you're missing anything, please let me know, okay? All right. Do we have answers put in? An example of a consumer.
No.
Okay, we could give you more time. Ooh, that's a good one, Cassidy. Bears. All right. So let's see a couple more answers. A person that purchases something. Shantane, I didn't listen. All right. So we are answering the question of what is a consumer. We need to put an example down. So Cassidy put a bear. A couple other suggestions of a consumer would be a hawk, a snake, so many other things. Okay. Yeah, all right. So we are going to go to our last part of the questions. And we are going to put in an example of a decomposer. So in the chat, when you're ready, we're going to put an example of a decomposer. All right, a decomposer. Okay, so if we go back to our notes, we learned that a decomposer is an organism that breaks down dead or decaying organisms and recycles nutrients back into an ecosystem. So in examples at the end of your notes should say mushrooms, bugs, worms, bacteria, so many different things. All right. All right, so we are done with that response card session, and we are gonna go. Miss Sam's gonna share her screen. Hold on one second. All right, can we all see Miss Sam's screen? Everyone can see it? Oops. All right, so Miss Brown is going to submit a worksheet for us to complete. So on this worksheet, let me make it a little bit bigger. It's not in the Google Meet yet, but she's gonna submit it for you guys to complete. So we are gonna identify which organisms are producers, consumers, and decomposers. So we know for number one, we know that a rabbit is a consumer because it eats its own food to get energy, right? So that's what we are going to be completing, whoops, for our assignment at the end, okay? All right.